Hey there, Skullheads. I'm Snags.
And I'm old Silky.
I'm Mike.
Rabid Mike is with us again. And we are going to talk about, it's amazing. This is what, episode 77, I think.
Yes, episode
And
77.
we've gone 76 episodes without talking about Quentin Tarantino's, without doing a Quentin Tarantino episode, which is just amazing that we haven't done.
In our
yet.
defense, there are so many things that we need to tell you people out there, you skullheads that sit and wonder, what should I be into? What band should I be praising? And each week you guys tune in. So there's only so much in the day. So sometimes, there's certain things we've yet to get to, but
anybody who listens to people who don't give a damn about what's popular and are into obscure shit and aren't afraid to voice their opinions, and naturally we're just funny as hell, that's naturally also going to be a Quentin Tarantino fan, because there's a lot of traits that old QT rocks. So it's just amazing. We haven't done one yet. Most of you cats are going to know a lot of this shit probably, but we're going to celebrate Quentin Tarantino tonight. Why don't you pimp the website and tell people where they can follow us on YouTube and I guess.
Yeah. So go on snagsandsilky.com. Christmas is coming up right around the corner. Father's Day next June, Mother's Day in May, Arbor Day, Flag Day. A lot of holidays coming up where you could get a mug, a T-shirt, a sticker, a hoodie.
And if your son is correct, probably a rubber dinosaur.
Else.
Yeah,
right. And there's 3 different designs that Eric Stevens designed for us out of the grace of his kindness. And that's the website. Also on the website, you can go in and check out previous shows and listen to that, and also find books and related playlists that I have toiled and sweated over. A really good collection of music for tonight's playlist, all from QT's movies. So
there you go. What's the name of the playlist again? I forgot.
You've put me on the spot. I have to.
I've got it. Hold on. Got to rock the name. He always comes up with good play. Better Get the Gimp. Better Get the Gimp as the QT playlist.
Better Get the Gimp.
The Gimp was sleeping at my house until I turned on that fucking playlist.
There you go.
He has not stopped dancing since.
Yeah. So you're at risk of awaking the Gimp in your house if you listen to that playlist, but it's worth it. Check it out.
The Gimp is obviously also my wife's nickname for my penis. But
there you go.
Bring out the Gimp.
77 is actually a very strong number. My favorite people were born in 1977.
Oh, there you go. See? I'm class of 71.
And there's a Clash song.
1977.
Yeah. Before we start, just a little news everybody's talking about is Perry Farrell's meltdown, and I guess it was Boston last Friday the 13th. It was a bad luck day, and Jane's Addiction's playing. He's 65. They haven't released anything relevant in decades, but they still tour to make money, off their old songs.
Well, it's like the original lineup in 14 years, and
I believe it's been called The Shot Heard Round the World, but apparently that was already taken. But
there you go.
Since it was in Boston.
So a fellow, a guest that's on many times, Jason Lafarge.
Yeah, old Jay.
He saw them, I think Wednesday or something, and it was a complete show. But he talked about after he'd seen it, he mentioned that Perry was way off, and several times Dave Navarro is trying to start his solo, and Perry keeps repeating the same thing like several times, delaying Navarro's performance. And just, I think musicians, as they're playing, they know the song. They're playing it along. They know where they're at, and a lot of times the singer can get lost, or but everyone else is in line. And so I thought it was funny that Jay mentioned that, and then here Friday, just an absolute meltdown.
It reminds me when I saw Bad Brains about 10 years ago, and I saw Bad Brains in '89, and they were fucking phenomenal, just all cylinders, amazing. I saw them about 10 years ago at the Masquerade, and the band was the same. They were just tight as a fly's ass, just fucking all cylinders. And it was just mind blowing as that band is. But HR was stoned out of his mind and just babbling. He wasn't even, the audience was having to sing the choruses to the songs.
Jesus
HR was just ranting about Jaw, and he was obviously just stoned out of his mind.
It's frustrating because you go see a band, and anymore it's you're harming yourself the next day at work because you're blown out.
Well, it's just being old.
Travel,
being
all
an
the things,
old fucker. Yeah.
You look forward to going to a show, and you're like, hey guys, I've taken tonight off. I expect a decent show, and when they shit on it, you're just like, God damn, man, I'm gonna be blown out at work, travel, money. Shit ain't cheap anymore.
No, I will say this, and I like the band. I like a lot of their catalog. I don't know that I would see them at this point. Dave Navarro, as far as I'm concerned, is a very underrated guitarist, as famous as he is.
Phenomenal guitar player. Amazing. Yeah.
I really love his album with the Chili Peppers. One Hot Minute was a good record.
Oh, really? See that?
I thought he fit in with them very well. I think it spoke to his craftsmanship. And also, I am actually a fan, and I was sorry they didn't go further with it. I like that show. I want to say it was called Rockstar Supernova. Was him and Jason Newsted. They played some great stuff on that show.
Yeah, I never saw it, but I know they did.
It's a fun show for what it was.
So my thing with Jane's Addiction is back in the day, they were coming around, and I had the day off. I went to Turtles to get tickets, and they were like the hot band. You had to get there, kind of camp out, and get. It was one of the last times that camping out was a thing, and I got there, get in, and Snags didn't want to come down, so I'm gonna get his ticket. I get there, and they've got one ticket left, and this to this day stings. I was like, oh my God, if I tell him they only had one ticket, he's not going to believe me.
No, I didn't believe him.
So I'm like screwed either way, So somehow I tell the Terminator I didn't get any tickets. Well, or I got one ticket, or I don't know. Somehow Snags finds out that there was one ticket possibly, or I refused to get his ticket.
I think you called me and said you couldn't get tickets, and I was like, I for whatever reason I didn't believe you. And then my friend Jim got tickets, and then I was going, and I was like, well, I'll see you at the show. And you're like, I don't have a ticket, and I was like, yeah, sure,
no,
man.
And
I'll see you at the show.
I was so pissed off at the whole situation. I sold my ticket because I just it was such a I don't even know how to explain it.
Yeah,
but I was just like, I can't. And to this day, I hear them, and I'm like, it's like it ruined anything to do with them.
I'm glad I could ruin Jane's Addiction.
Yeah, but realistically, those first two albums are amazing, and anything after that is so hit or miss. There's so many other things I could listen to.
Yeah, the other albums are hit or miss. I do think Strays is actually pretty decent.
I've heard that.
Bob,
I
yeah.
haven't heard it though.
But anyways, let's stop irritating the people that tuned in to listen to Quentin Tarantino. I always hate that when I fire up a podcast and they're rambling about other shit. I'm like, you said you're going to talk about
current
Quentin
events. You know.
Hey man,
yeah. But anyways,
with you guys having a beverage of perhaps adult nature or not, and the conversation will go where it goes.
Yeah,
And if
we're actually going to talk.
If they can't take a diversion, fuck them.
We're actually going to talk about Burl Ives for 30 minutes now.
Burl Ives could clear a room with a beer fart. That son of a bitch.
Oh yeah.
They called him Burl Pelvic Crusher.
Hey,
Ives.
you don't have to lean right up to the microphone and scream.
I want the
Do you think he ever regretted getting kind of I don't know if the word is typecast, but cast in the
Burl
role
Ives?
of kind of the Christmas song guy? Like, isn't that what he's probably best remembered for?
Yeah,
I
as I go
you know
through
what?
my day,
I promised these guys I was going to do a whole episode talking like Bobcat Goldthwait. So
please do.
Tarantino's impact on cinema.
Yeah, Burl Ives. Let's just take a second. Cheers.
So
Cheers to Burl Ives. Bet
God
you fuckers are wondering when are they going to start talking about Tarantino? Well, fucking when we want to talk about Tarantino.
I'm drinking Crown and Coke.
Oh, there you go.
beer.
What do you got? Iron Mike, what do you got?
Fremont Sky Kraken Hazy Pale Ale out of Seattle. Delicious.
Release the Kraken.
Release the
Nice.
Kraken.
I'm drinking tea tonight, so
Good for you.
Savage. So,
All right.
so let me just kind of intro Tarantino to me. I worked at Tower Records, and we got these flyers that came in. They would be movie passes, and I saw Reservoir Dogs. Went in having no idea about the director. I just knew that, the different actors that were in Reservoir Dogs, you could see them on the thing. I liked that whole cast. Everybody was just awesome. So I went just for who was in the movie. And by the end of it, we were all like, we just saw something really special, something really different. And I would dare say Tarantino is our Hitchcock, but
he is the auteur of our generation for sure, without a fucking doubt.
There are definitely some other directors worthy of comment. I would say, and I want to be clarified, directors who came out from 1990 onward.
Yeah.
There are probably some other directors worth talking about, but for me, he is without question the top of that time to now.
Yeah. I just think he's iconic. There's specific movies that just take you straight to a moment or whatever. But it's funny, and this will be my big thing on Tarantino. After Pulp Fiction, 4 Rooms came out, and I think I was thinking he'd done the whole movie and not just one segment. And I think I just felt like he was a hack after that. Like I was, oh yeah, Tarantino, it's just all wind and no substance. Yet I saw everything he did, and I think it was I don't know, late in the day, probably Inglourious Bastards, where I was like, dude, this guy is amazing. He's a hell of a storyteller. Everything about it. I think it's more his writing than possibly the directing, but he puts asses in seats, man.
Yeah.
He's a genius.
My first experience of Tarantino, I didn't see Reservoir Dogs until after I saw Pulp Fiction, but I went out of town on vacation one summer. It's the summer of '94. And I get back in town, You and the Terminator meet me at the airport. By coincidence, we're both wearing our Bart Simmons shirts. These Bart Simpson with Gene Simmons makeup. Both wearing those shirts. Just did not discuss it in advance. That was pretty funny.
No, it was really embarrassing walking out of the airport with the same fucking shirt.
And then on the drive home, you and the Terminator are just ranting about this movie, Pulp Fiction, that came out, and how you guys saw it. It was amazing, and you're gonna take me to see it immediately. And it's like the next day or so after I got back, we went to see Pulp Fiction.
Oh.
It was your second time seeing it. My first time, I was like blown the fuck away.
Yeah.
And then I think I rented Reservoir Dogs, or maybe you wanted to show it to me and rented it. But that was my first exposure to the whole thing. What about you, Rabid Mike?
So very long story short, I started working at 15 at a Red Lobster, and next door to the Red Lobster was a Specs Video and Music, and that really, earning that money really give me the opportunity to start spending money on music and movies. And I had already, my older brother, who has probably shaped a lot of my taste in pop culture, music and film and TV, actually, against my parents, opposed, they didn't even know about it, and certainly against their wishes, had taken me to see Goodfellas in 1990 in the theaters. Oh. And in 90, I think I was 13.
Oh, wow.
So damn, you're younger than us. You look older than us.
And one of the first, well, actually, before that, he had taken me to see New Jack City, which was probably the first rated R film I've ever seen in the theater, which, by the way, is a whole other story. I think holds up very well. But 1990, he took me to see Goodfellas, which this is before I'd seen The Godfather. I mean, it blew me away. And as I started to earn some money in my teens, Martin Scorsese, because of Goodfellas, is someone I kind of attached myself to. So I probably owned by then a decent chunk of Scorsese's filmography on VHS, and was kind of into film as much as a 14, 15-year-old kid could be.
Sure. And
I remember pretty distinctly on broadcast television seeing a preview for this movie called Pulp Fiction. And I certainly knew who John Travolta was. I'd seen a lot of Welcome Back, Kotter in reruns, and knew who he was. And kind of, like I said, kind of thought of myself as a bit of a film nerd, and it just looked interesting and different. And I said, let me go see this, Well, I should mention, too, I was a huge Die Hard fanatic. So Bruce Willis, in the brief thing in the trailer, I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah.
I'm golden because I love Bruce Willis.
I love that he wanted Travolta no matter what.
Well, it was originally written for. Let's see. Hold on. Let me just. I'm adding New Jack City to my my Paramount Plus list because I don't think I ever fucking saw New Jack City.
Oh, dude, you need to see that tonight. That's
New Jack City is, I think, a very underrated movie.
Yeah, I mean, New Jack City was overshadowed by Menace to Society and Boys in the Hood,
right?
But I think New Jack City, Ice-T and Wesley Snipes were tremendous in that.
So that role was originally written for Michael Madsen, and it was Vic Vega from Reservoir Dogs. It was that character.
Yep. And what I found out recently, and you guys might know, Michael Madsen wanted to do it, but had already signed a contract to be one of the Earp brothers.
Yeah, he did Wyatt Earp instead.
Which, by the way, well, I'll tell you what. Not that I know we end up digressing.
No, it's
Wyatt
fine.
Earp is a good movie, and Michael Madsen's good in it. He's a good actor.
Yeah, he's a great fucking actor. Yeah,
you can't. And by the way, at the time for Michael Madsen, I guarantee you a bigger payday.
Yeah, probably. But I think Tombstone just stole the show. It might be the McDonald's version of OK Corral, but goddamn, it's good.
I'll tell you this. I think the fact that, and that's a whole other episode maybe, the amount of films that have been made about the Earp brothers and about that incident at the OK Corral is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I will tell you this: Wyatt Earp is more historically accurate. Tombstone is more entertaining.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
And with those words, El Condor is in the
El
house. He's going to
Condor.
pimp the website. Pimp the website, son.
Go to snagsandsilky.com. We got shirts, sweaters, everything you can imagine. Mugs,
Posters that connect to each other.
posters that connect to each other.
Action figures.
Pops,
Action
baby.
figures.
I want my El Condor action figure. Goddamn it!
Pinball. We got
Oh,
a snack.
El Condor.
Ooh, it's
We got the.
special edition.
We got these Snags and Silky pinball machines. Just everything.
El Condor. I'm pretty sure Transformers 1 comes out this weekend.
Oh,
Yeah, like
thank you.
this Friday.
Get on that.
You're the
Like
best.
this Friday.
All right.
Also,
What?
Mom said you work on Friday.
Yes, I do.
Then how
Okay.
are we gonna go see the movie?
Interrupting cow.
Hey, priorities. We got to resolve
Yeah.
the Transformers issue.
Oh yeah.
Brett, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
old Silky. The fact that young man takes after his mother makes you probably the luckiest. In the
yeah.
world.
The beard will grow in.
That's good stuff, man. I love El
Oh
Condor.
boy.
All right. So basically let's talk about Tarantino's early life just a little bit. Born in 1963, just a few years older, 6
Good
years older than me, 7 years older than old Silky here.
And
His
somebody
mother-
who did something with their life, and here we are.
Yeah, instead of doing a podcast with 10 listeners. But anyways, hey, we're not homeless. That's the important thing. Knock
You
on
got
wood.
that.
Right?
Got
Not
that.
homeless. So he's born in 1963, born in Knoxville, Tennessee. His mother Connie was a nurse, and his father Tony Tarantino was a not so successful actor and musician. They move out to Los Angeles. The mother ends up getting divorced. He's got a stepdad named Kurt. And so his earliest memories of going to the movies, when his mom and Kurt would go out on dates, instead of finding a babysitter, they would just take him along. And so he was going to see all these grown-up movies from a very young age.
Mhm.
They would just take him. And that's started seeing a lot of these classic 70s movies. And at an early age, and on the drive home, they would discuss the movies. And even if there was violence in them, the mother, her whole thing was, as long as you understand the context of the violence, I'm okay with you seeing violence.
I have something to add to that. It's interesting in society. Weigh in on this, Mike, that we are more concerned about tits in movies. Oh, there's nudity. But, Walking Dead and all these zombie films and people getting ripped apart, young kids with guns blowing somebody's head off, again, in these Walking Dead type shows. That's okay. But God forbid a girl takes her shirt off and rubs them all over another girl, and then some guy comes in, and then another girl comes in, and they're all just...
And all the girls start making out and sucking each other's tits. And
that's horrific.
Yeah.
We can't show that.
Oh, no.
But we can show Stallone blowing the fuck out of some...
that's stupid.
Well, I mean, to me, it almost goes back to the whole notion of Stairway to Heaven is satanic. They picked on this song because it's the most popular song ever on FM rock. Yet, if it caused these problems, our streets would be running red with blood.
Right.
They couldn't pick something obscure because it wouldn't have had any impact. So they picked the most popular song in the history of FM radio, and it's not happening.
But they're not going to take the energy to track some other thing down.
No,
just take
so they picked something everyone had heard of to try to be a pain in the ass.
But the violence in Tarantino's movies, I feel like it's amped up for entertainment and possibly shock value but influenced by what we've seen since the Vietnam War, since all the shows in the 60s, Combat, all the way up to, you mentioned Gunsmoke, all those things.
Yeah, well, the thing is, violence entered mainstream cinema, and Tarantino talks about this a lot. Like, Hitchcock was brilliant, but there's a lot of stuff he couldn't show. And that's why he likes 70s cinema more, because they could show the violence. Sex was doing the same thing. A lot of people don't know this, but like Deep Throat and Behind the Green Door were mainstream cinema hits. They were talking about it on the Tonight Show. People were lining up around the block to see it, and then somewhere, and I think
and that
a lot
led to Last Tango in Paris. A lot of movies.
But somewhere the sex got forced underground, and that's all on Pornhub now. But if you want explicit violence and people's heads exploding, you just need to fire up Hulu. So I don't know.
But
it's weird.
Isn't it interesting? And we don't have to keep talking about it. It's just interesting that a woman's breasts are so deadly that are somehow going to contaminate the child.
Well, especially if she's a fembot from Austin Powers, because their tits would shoot bullets.
No, but I will say this about Quentin's violence. To me, Quentin's violence, and there's other directors I could point to their credit, and to Quentin's credit, I believe the violence is so realistic that I don't see it as encouraging violence. I see his violence as so realistic. I'll point to Reservoir Dogs when Tim Roth shoots Michael Madsen. That's the way Michael Madsen's physical reaction is what would happen if you were shot from 20 feet away by several 9mm rounds. Yeah. It's so realistic that it's almost hard to watch. And I've heard Quentin actually talk about that. I think he shoots his violence pretty realistically. As opposed to Star Wars, where it's so sanitary because it's lasers and there's no blood.
Yeah.
That's almost more cartoony for sure.
The cop in Reservoir Dogs getting his ear cut off, and then the camera slowly moves to the left is gruesome.
The whole way all this stuff got embedded in his psyche is kind of an interesting story. So like, he's going to these movies with his mom and his stepdad. They're talking about him. He's getting the adult perspective at a very young age on all this violence and sex that he was seeing on the screen. And they go with his stepdad and his mom and his uncle to see Sweet Sweetback's Badass Song.
Great song. Great movie.
Early blaxploitation flick, and Sweet Sweetback is this guy's nickname because he's good in bed. And so it's got a lot of sex in it, and he's fucking all these chicks. So anyways, they go back to the house, and his stepdad hated the movie, his uncle hated the movie, and they're just ranting about how terrible it is. And his mom is really quiet, and she's not saying anything. And not too long after that, his mom's divorced and exclusively dating black guys. So
okay,
that movie inspired a transition in his mom's life.
Interesting.
And so now he's got this, she's dating this black cat named Reggie. And Reggie is taking him to it's not just a bunch of different 70s movies and a blaxploitation movie here. When Reggie is the stepfather figure, it's all blaxploitation all the time.
Yeah.
And so, we were talking about David Lee Roth growing up in the black high school and just, really soaking himself in the culture. Well, this phase of Tarantino's life, same thing. And so he's going to see Blackula. His very first one that he went to see with Reggie is in the heart of the black section of town. And it's a great blaxploitation flick called Black Gun. You remember that one?
I've seen so many.
Yeah. Well, there's a scene in there. The guy's last name is Gunn, Gunn. It's called Black Gun. And this cracker is across the desk from him, threatening him. And he's got this little compartment in his desk, and he like presses a button or something, and this sawed-off shotgun falls in his lap and pulls it out and blows the guy away, and the whole theater just went fucking nuts.
It's Jim Brown, right?
I think it was, yeah.
Jim Brown.
And I've only seen it once. It was about 5 years ago, but he said his whole cinematic career has been trying to recreate that experience for people that he had when that shotgun fell in Jim Brown's lap in Black Gun, and he shot the motherfucker, and everybody just went fucking nuts. And so his violence and his action is about creating an exciting experience for a group of film goers. And I think
that goes back to my thinking that he's the best. And I would say Reservoir Dogs officially released in 91.
I think so. 92, maybe.
Let's say 91, 92. I think he's the best since then, simply because, particularly with what we've gone through in the last 15 years, I think his main goal is to entertain us. He wants you to come in, get your money's worth, and be entertained. And I think he has delivered that 100%.
Tenfold. And the other thing in his movies, you look at Inglourious Bastards, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and also another one. Anyway, my point was, things happened historically, but he's gonna show you his fantasy, Django is the third one I was talking about. There are things that take place in those three movies, Inglourious Bastards, where the Jews win, and why not?
Well, they kill Hitler, yeah.
Why not? Let's do that. Django, an amazing movie, incredibly violent, almost to a level that I hope never happened, but. In Django, there's two characters.
I'm sure that was more realistic than.
Oh yeah,
I was literally uncomfortable watching that movie.
Yes, and that's what I'm talking about. The level of uncomfortability goes all the way back for me.
He was showing you the reality. He said when that came out, he said, "People have been making westerns for years. Nobody's made a Southern. This is a Southern. This is showing you what it was like." They never really get into the whole slave.
It doesn't even.
That movie is such an homage, and well done homage to Sergio Leone.
Yes,
and to the Django movies,
and to the Django movies, which are amazing. I've seen them all; they're very good. Well, to the point of having and I'm going to screw up my point.
One of the Django's is in there.
One of the Django's is in it. For a moment. And by the way, on a quick side note, I had seen that in the theater, and I knew my dad would like it. My dad loves spaghetti westerns and westerns in general. So, long story short, we just had a night together. I got the DVD. I owned the DVD. My father had an absolute blast
with Django Unchained.
With Django Unchained, it is uncomfortable. But it's so much. I find it unbelievably fun. The first thing I think of when I think of his films is fun. They're fun to me.
They're fun, and he doesn't have to stick to historically accurate. It's a movie, and so he can do what he wants. So
there's an old Western that starts out with the titles that come up and say, this may not be how it was, but it's how it should have been. And he's playing the music from those titles at the end of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Because that is absolutely how it should have been. I wish it ended that way. Kill all the fucking maniac Kill all the Manson hippies.
That film is extremely anti-hippie. You gotta say that.
Oh yeah,
Because both
It is
DiCaprio
for
and
sure.
Pitt's characters are of a John Wayne, James Coburn generation.
and it fits because
And
they're making.
I hate hippies and I despise the Manson family, and I love that movie. I mean, they walk into his house and they have gone into the wrong house. Like, the guy who plays Tex Watson, who was brilliant, is like, Clifford had that acid cigarette right before walking his dog, and he goes,
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Are you for real? He goes, I'm as real as a donut, motherfucker.
Yeah.
He proceeds to beat the piss out of all three of them.
It's beautiful. And the book is so different yet the same. So you were going to discuss, Snags, his non-linear storytelling, which is just brilliant. Throughout his movies, you just come into the action, and that gets you down, and then at some point he's going to take you back to, and it makes more sense. Oh, okay, this is what's going on. But it's the way some people tell stories that way. Oh my God, what happened? Oh, I fell down a flight of stairs. But then as they get you to that point, they then go back to the fact that they tripped over the dog or, whatever. And, the story goes from there. But
yeah, I think he got that from, he's an avid reader. I think he got that from a lot of the books that he was reading, because that happens a lot more in novels where you'll kind of jump around. But it's interesting. So I'm going to keep kind of touching in on his bio. I like the freeform nature of the conversation, but I'll kind of thread through back to his bio every now and then. So he basically he's seeing all these movies with his when he's young, parents and stepdad and mom's boyfriend taking him to all these movies. Drops out of high school at the age of 18 and he gets his first job. I'm sorry, at the age of 15. At 16, he gets his first job. And I don't know how he got this job at 16, but he would probably just because of the laid back nature of the times. He was an usher at the Pussycat Theater in LA. Pussycat was a chain of porn theaters. So that was his first job.
incredible.
What year would that have been about?
16. He was born in 63. So what's 63 plus 16? I don't know. I'm a fucking idiot. 79. 79.
Yeah. I could see that. I could see that back then. Kids don't understand how much this has changed now. I was mentioning my first job at Red Lobster. I was 15. I don't think Red Lobster can employ a 15-year-old anymore.
One current character in all of his movies is the soundtrack.
Oh yeah,
it's amazing how he will take like Little Green Bag, and that opens Reservoir Dogs, and you're like, holy shit! Here's a song you haven't thought of in 10 years, and it comes on, and you're like, fuck yeah! And it just puts you in the movie. You're suddenly like, bam! And Little Green Bag is such a kick-ass tune, and then you can just jump to his most recent Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and that's got songs in it where you're like, oh, listen to that, and
I remember when that one came out, you tracked down every song that was in that thing and made a playlist.
I was just upset. And I've heard that when he's writing a script, he almost develops the soundtrack before he even starts putting words to paper to almost fit these songs in,
Yeah, he listens to music while he's writing and gets the songs.
I love the idea of just a soft 70s fluffy tune playing, like Stuck in the Middle with You, while some dude's getting his ear carved off,
Yeah, it's iconic.
Fucking Thanksgiving.
I would argue singularly his involvement with the soundtracks is absolutely part of what makes him the filmmaker of our day.
Yeah.
He just
Scorsese does it.
Scorsese is very good, but I'll tell you this, Quentin pulls off songs out of their era in
Yes.
a convincing way. He's
Yeah.
got David Bowie in Inglourious Bastards.
Putting out the fire
Yeah,
with gasoline.
and
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah.
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 And it's almost like he wish fulfillment on his part. I will make this David Bowie song, I'm assuming from the 70s, work in a World War II film.
Yeah.
It's really ridiculous how well it works.
That I've Got a Name in Django was fucking,
Which
done.
so fits with that character, right? Like this character is growing in confidence because of Dr. Schultz's belief in him, that he can throw in this 70s singer-songwriter song, and it works perfectly.
Yeah,
and you see his confidence grow as a character. Django's character arc in that film is unbelievable.
And I'd like to see 3 or 4 more.
When I say unbelievable, you believe it.
Yeah. Like I'd like Jamie Foxx to do 3 more Djangos. I mean, just
amazing.
I would be all over it.
Well, that's a whole other sidetrack.
I just don't see Quentin doing
when Jamie
sequels.
Foxx hits, he crushes.
Yeah.
And by the way, part of my father's buy-in with Django, my father loved Ray Charles. My father got to see Ray Charles live twice in his lifetime, and he loved the movie Ray so much that when I told him Jamie Foxx was in Django, he's like, "Oh yeah, we got to watch him." I mean,
that's great.
And Jamie Foxx, I won't say has got a ton of movies that I love, but when he hits, he kills.
Oh,
he wrote that. He actually wrote that for Will Smith. He wanted Will Smith to play it. Will Smith,
and I'm so glad Will Smith didn't do it.
Yeah, I really am.
Will Smith declined. Another cat that auditioned who would have been actually pretty fucking interesting in the role was Michael K. Williams, aka Chalky motherfucking White.
Sure.
That would have been interesting.
AKA Marlowe from
Wyatt.
Yeah. Oh, that I would have. That's another actor that's amazing. Idris Elba is incredible.
Jamie Foxx owned that. I just
the
stars were aligned for that for me.
Yeah. The Calvin Candy role was actually written for John Travolta, but then he was thinking of John Travolta from Pulp Fiction, and this is many years later. And after he finished the script, he was going, "Wait a minute, John Travolta's too old for this," and that's when he ended up casting DiCaprio.
Well, DiCaprio crushes that. There's a short scene that I actually watched on YouTube just for this few minutes, where Cotton Candy is harassing one of his Mandingo fighters, and Christopher Waltz's character just gets so uncomfortable with the way this guy. He's like, "I'll buy him just to let him stop fighting," and he goes, I'm not gonna. I need $500 for you. And Christopher Waltz's character goes, "I'll give you $500." And DiCaprio turns in his a childlike innocence. He's the most evil character maybe in the history of film. In his childlike innocence, he goes, "You will."
Yeah.
DiCaprio destroyed it. He is a great actor.
He's a great actor.
He's a good. What convinced me, what got me on board with DiCaprio as a great actor was The Aviator. The John
and Basketball Diaries. You need to see Basketball Diaries.
I saw that way back in the day, but I'm telling you, when I saw The Aviator and him playing Howard Hughes under Scorsese's masterful direction, I was just like, okay, I get it.
Amazing, underrated.
Gilbert Grape is decent. Good.
I don't know too much of DiCaprio's that I actually don't like.
Yeah,
he's one of the few actors of our time who probably, I would argue, is worth seeing in almost anything he's been in.
Yeah.
Just to see him.
Yeah.
And obviously, the better the writing and directing, the better for him. But He's great. He really
Ever
is.
since that bitch drowned him out in the ocean, though, he's really career
Yeah,
just
he
took
could have
off.
got on the door. That's
Yeah, he
bullshit.
could
I
have
call
totally got
bullshit.
on that fucking
Probably
board.
my least favorite film he's done because
that was a tough one
I
to
won't
get through.
talk too much
Yeah.
about
And
Titanic.
then to
but
see him not get on the door is
Yeah.
anyway.
What
you
the
have
fuck?
to be pretty shitty to. I just claimed probably the best actor of our generation and one of my favorite actresses, and to be a movie I'll never see again. I mean, that's because Kate Winslet, I think, is actually a very good actress.
She's sexy,
and also ranks about a 15 on the 10 scale.
Yeah, she's
even
filthy.
now, like
Yeah.
she's but it's bad.
I'd give her a shower.
There you go. Let's rewind past that a little bit. Back to he works at the Pussycat Theater for a while. And we're doing this actually in Tarantino style. We're jumping back and forth. Anyways, so he's an extra on Golden Girls as an Elvis impersonator. Gets this job at Video Archives. This was the second most influential part of his development. First is going to all these movies with his parents. And then the second part that was equally impactful was he gets this job at a video store called Video Archives. And they've got all and this is during the dark ages, right? When he's going to these movies with his parents in the glory days of the 70s, he's seeing all this amazing cinema that will forever influence him. Then the dark ages set in, which is known as the 1980s. And fucking E.T., Gremlins, and all this stuff is the big hit. And he finds this little underground hovel cave to hibernate in through this ice age of a decade with a bunch of like-minded people, namely Roger Avery, who also became a filmmaker. And they're all working at this video store. They're all watching all these independent films and catching up on even more of the 70s stuff and these exploitation films that are really transgressive and interesting. Like J. Lee Thompson made the Cannon films with Charles Bronson. And so he's educating himself even more. It's basically, he said that working at Video Archives was this, until he became a director, was the best job he ever had, because he's just there.
Snags and I grew up near a video store similar to this. It was called Movies Worth Seeing. And you could go in there and catch some crazy ass Akira Kurosawa movie that you'd never heard of. Just a plethora of movies that you never would have seen at Blockbuster, let alone be able to rent. And the guy that worked the counter was like, "Oh man, check this!" Like, you just go up and tell him stuff you liked, and you have to see this movie, you know.
Yeah, and that's the kind of percolation that was going on that influenced his style.
Can I break in a little bit?
Sure.
There is a guy on YouTube who's very, very popular, so I'm not helping him per se, named Rick Beato. And he is probably just a little bit older than all of us, but not much. He was a pretty big producer for a time, and he's an amazing musician. He has perfect pitch. But he did a quick video a little while ago, maybe a year ago, talking about what has been lost for our kids. And that is working to earn $1 to go buy or rent a video, buy or rent a audio cassette or vinyl record. There is no investment in it anymore. No. He told a story. He grew up in New York. He got a job bagging groceries specifically to earn money to buy vinyl records.
That's what I did.
With the availability, what I did. I told you I worked next door to a Specs.
Yeah.
Yeah, a Specs
video. And I thought you worked at behind the dumpster. You know,
I thought you lived in a van down by the river.
Yeah.
No, but I didn't realize you were working in the Red Lobster.
I was working in the Red Lobster. I was making those delicious little cheddar biscuits.
Behind the dumpster.
There is a lack, though, of equity put into it anymore. And I'm to blame for it. My kid has all this bullshit she wants at her fingertips. There is no equity in it anymore. I literally got a job in 1991 after Metallica's Black Album came out. I got a job so I could buy the rest of their catalog. Because if I had asked my father for spare change to buy those records, he would have kicked me square in the ass and said, go get a job. So I skipped that step and just got a job.
Right.
So I could go buy that shit.
I had to walk uphill to school both ways.
In the snow.
In the snow. Yeah.
Dude,
No,
so
when he tells us a great story about that.
I can remember the vice on your heart and almost on your neck when you saw something you wanted and you're like, fuck, I don't have money for that.
So
and you figured it out.
We had a local video store. We had a local VHS rental store. VHS kids, you know.
Yeah.
And they told me if your parents set up an account, you can just charge it to their account. And boy, I was so excited. I rode my little Huffy all the way back home. And before my dad got in the door, much like El Condor wanting to go see Transformers 1, before my man had his first little bourbon on ice, I said, hey, Dad, if you let me, I can go to the video store and I can rent movies on your account. And he said, you see this front walk, son? It needs edging. So go home, go get the spade and the shovel and get you to edging up this sidewalk.
Yeah.
And I sure enough did it. But the video store was magical.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of where he basically percolated and developed his vision. And with his friends from the video store, he basically started working on his first film, which you can actually find on YouTube. It's called My Friend's Birthday. It is the first Quentin Tarantino film.
That's on YouTube.
Yeah, I'll put the link on the click pit. It was originally a 70-minute film.
I've heard of it, but I had no clue that
it's on YouTube. It's a comedy. It's kind of a wacky comedy. It's not the action, blood-filled action kind of thing. But it was 70 minutes. There's 36 minutes left. They had a $5,000 budget. They shot it over a period of 3 years. What's left is this 36-minute kind of comedy that's on YouTube, My Friend's Birthday. That wasn't the first script he wrote, though. When he was 14, he wrote a script called Captain Peachfuzz and the Anchovy Bandit, which was inspired by Smoking the Bandit. That script is lost to time. Nobody, it's not available anywhere. Shortly after My Friend's Birthday, that's kind of their film school and training. He's learning how to make a film. I'm sure it's not as good as the crap that we made back in the day.
Nothing is.
Yeah, no. But anyways, he writes 2 screenplays, which our audience will be familiar with, which is True Romance, which ended up getting directed by Tony Scott, Ridley Scott's dead brother. And Tony Scott originally read the script for Reservoir Dogs and True Romance, and Tony Scott wanted to do Reservoir Dogs, but
now what was Reservoir Dogs based on? Wasn't that kind of
City on Fire? Yeah, he ripped it off from City on Fire by John Woo, and we'll get to that. So the other script he wrote was Natural Born Killers. And he writes this treatment with Roger Avery, and that ends up getting. He wanted Roger Avery to take that and make it. Roger Avery got involved with some other people and lost control of it. It ended up with Oliver Stone, and Tarantino hates.
Like that movie.
Yeah, Tarantino hates.
About that?
I liked it. I thought it was interesting.
I'll side with Quentin on this. What does it say about him as a writer that a film he doesn't like disavows in the long term, and I still enjoy it? That says something about him as a writer. Like, he didn't like how Stone delivered it. I still like it. I don't doubt that it could have been better, but it's still an impactful, well-acted film.
there's something about that movie I just did not like when I saw it in the theater, and I don't know if it was the MTV kind of portrayal, the short attention. It's like jumping all over I don't know, but I did not like that movie.
Well, what and neither did Quentin, so you guys share that in common. So
Sure.
with what how he got Reservoir Dogs made though, basically he's friends with Lawrence Bender, who ended up becoming his producer for quite a while. Lawrence Bender passed it to his acting teacher because his acting teacher's wife knew Harvey Keitel. So they're like, see if you can get this Reservoir Dogs script my friend wrote to Harvey. Harvey read it, and basically that's how it got made. Harvey fucking loved
fantastic.
it. And so they got together a $1.2 million budget, a 35-day shoot, and got that thing made. And
how much did it cost?
1.2 mil.
I made notes on this.
I know,
that
it's
cost
amazing.
1.2 mil.
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction, if I'm not mistaken, cost $8 million.
Yeah, it cost $8.
This is in the era. And by the way, I like the movie I'm about to mention. I think it's a fun movie, but nonetheless, Waterworld came out in 1995. And I remember when it came out, it was a controversy that it ran to $100 million budget. Now, again, I actually do enjoy that film. I'm not suggesting it was not too expensive. My point is, though, and this is why Quentin got to do everything he's wanted to do ever since. That I know everyone thinks that that town is generated by politics. It really isn't. It has been a little bit for a while, but that's about to, I think, actually come under heel. You had Pulp Fiction in. I tried to look this up. I could not find the numbers. Maybe you guys can. Pulp Fiction ran in theaters longer than any film in my adult lifetime from 94 to now. I saw Pulp Fiction 6 times in the theaters, and I'm pretty sure the last time I saw it was in May or June of 1995, nearly a year after it released, for $8 million. They let him do whatever he wanted because the return on that investment was insane.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And that's, by the way, if I can seg into Clint Eastwood has always been given a great deal of freedom in his subject matter because from Play Misty for Me to now, he comes in under budget on time. And he got that this is a business, and if I will make them money, they will leave me alone. And he figured that out a long time ago. Which is where a genius like Orson Welles screwed up because he treated it like a joke and eventually said, no, you're killing us. We're losing on this, genius or not.
Yeah.
And Welles is not known. Orson Welles is not known for, a small handful of movies.
Because it is about one thing and one thing only: money.
Asses in seats.
And Quentin killed it. My God, look how much money they must have made on Reservoir Dogs.
Well, that they didn't make a lot of money on Reservoir Dogs in the box office.
Not at the time, but now, there's toys of the damn thing. You can go on eBay and find toys of those characters.
Yeah.
What did they spend on it?
They spent 1.2, and then the box office was 2.9.
I bought Reservoir Dogs on VHS, sight unseen. I saw Pulp Fiction the Friday it released. On Sunday, I spent $30 to buy the VHS of Reservoir Dogs.
Well, Reservoir Dogs,
guarantee you I was not alone.
What's crazy about Reservoir Dogs is most of it takes place in that warehouse. So that's just in filmmaking is brilliant. You don't have a bunch of scenes. We got to block off this road and explosions. It's all.
Guys, 6 months ago, I paid $30 for a Reservoir Dogs T-shirt.
Mhm.
He created the market for paraphernalia for adult movies. That was not happening before that.
No,
He created that market.
And all his.
The fact that there are now Godfather, Scarface, Taxi Driver, Sopranos, there are toys and paraphernalia based on adult dramas. Quentin invented that.
Probably, yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
That was not happening before.
Yeah.
In the early 80s, there was not paraphernalia you could buy from The Godfather. As popular as
I don't think so.
He created that. The nerds who bought Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi toys became the nerds who have bought paraphernalia from adult films.
Yeah.
And I think Quentin created that.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Take us through we've not mentioned Jackie Brown.
It's interesting when Jackie Brown came out. I remember feeling a little bit disappointed, because Pulp Fiction was so fucking dynamic. And then you had, I guess, Four Rooms was a little bit of a letdown, but then you had From Dusk Till Dawn. So
those are all murky. You got Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction. He's firing on all cylinders, and then you've got that third album slump, if you will.
I thought From Dusk Till Dawn was pretty interesting. I thought that was pretty dynamic.
The Four Rooms, and I understood when I saw Four Rooms that he had that portion
just
of it.
Small. Yeah, I guess I
will tell you something. I love From Dusk Till Dawn. I think it combines, and by the way, him and Robert Rodriguez became friends because they were on the independent film circuit for El Mariachi, which is also a great film.
Yeah.
Robert Rodriguez, by the way, to me is one of the, I would put him top 10 directors since that era, in my opinion.
I've probably seen a lot of his stuff.
Even like, I don't know if you guys know this, he directed those Spy Kids films. He wanted to direct films that his kids could see. Yeah. They're fun. He went out of his way to make a kid-friendly
in there. He's got a bunch of people in this.
They're fun, but El Mariachi's great.
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time in Mexico is awesome. Sin City's amazing. Sin City, the first one, is literally panel by panel the comic. I mean, it's perfect.
For some reason that didn't grab me, but everyone loved it.
Comic book fans are always saying it's not close enough to the comic. Well, he made a goddamn panel for panel film
of the movie. Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah, you can't beat it.
I'm a Robert Rodriguez guy. Planet Terror is tremendous for me.
I need to see that one. I never did see that.
You never saw Planet Terror?
Yeah,
it's like great. John Carpenter had a kid and he made another film. I mean,
when I saw Death Proof, I saw it in the theater with Planet Terror and Death Proof.
Me too. Yeah.
So
I love Death Proof. Death Proof is amazing. He spends, spoiler alert, kids, the movie's been out a minute, so no.
Had every opportunity.
Death Proof spends an hour developing these amazing, interesting female characters, and in 20 seconds Kurt Russell drives his car through them and destroys them. It's amazing.
It's tough seeing a movie where Kurt Russell dies, so that upset me.
You guys talk about Hitchcock.
He was a serial killer, dude.
Since Psycho spent an hour developing Janet Leigh's character before she is brutally murdered in 20 seconds. Has anybody spent that much time developing these characters? And then he has them massacred by this maniac with his car.
Since you bring up Psycho, anytime I watch that movie, I try to see, is there something she could do and not be killed? And short of just not staying in that hotel, there was nothing. I mean, she was going to die. I mean, that was it.
Well, the compelling thing about that is before she's murdered,
didn't someone make a sequel?
Yeah,
there's like three or four Psychos.
There's 4 or 5 Psychos.
Yeah.
Then there's a remake where the guy instead of just
why would Gus Van Sant remake Psycho? I never got that.
I don't.
Terrible.
And you know what he did? He did it scene for scene. So hey, Gus, I'm just gonna watch Hitchcock.
Yeah. Yep.
Thank
no
you.
reason.
Well, no,
No
he added
reason.
he added a nuclear explosion during
No
the
reason to
shower
watch your
scene.
damn
Good night.
remake. No
Hey,
reason.
Mrs. Lewis.
Hey.
What's shaking?
Just
What's
working
shaking?
on fourth grade,
Nice.
Recreating.
This is Madame Condor. We had El Condor in here
Yes.
earlier.
Yeah.
We got Madame Condor.
Brett, could you get up and
Hey,
get the fuck out of there and let Miss
Oh,
Lewis get like 10 minutes?
Get her to pimp the website.
Yeah, she's gone. That's the best we can get. Brief
Silky, you're about the luckiest son of a bitch I ever met. But anyway, can I segue into the only good remake ever made?
And
Sure,
then
why not?
let's get back to Tarantino.
Okay. Martin Scorsese's remake of Cape Fear is the only remake ever in the history of cinema ever worthwhile.
That was amazing.
That is an amazing double feature, by the way. Kids, if you're listening, rent the original. Listen to me, rent. Download the original, then download Martin Scorsese's remake. At the time, both were pushing the boundaries. And to Scorsese's credit, cast 3 of the main actors from the first film in his remake.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned it's just watched those.
Tremendous.
Just this past week, watched those again, just randomly. But so let's jump on with getting De Niro in for Jackie Brown.
Yeah.
De Niro and
Pam Grier, the one and only.
Very sexy. And Samuel Jackson again, right?
Yeah. Adapted from Elmore Leonard's Rum Punch. And he there's this movie he saw back in the exploitation days called Alligator.
Yes.
And there's an actor in that movie named Robert Forster, who basically always stuck with him. That performance from Alligator always stuck with him. And he's casting Jackie Brown, and he's thinking Gene Hackman, who could do this role? And then he remembered, that cat from Alligator. I wonder if he's still around. Fucking calls him up. That's something we haven't mentioned yet, is his penchant for resurrecting careers. But he calls, this is just, obviously resurrected Travolta's career. And
more directors need to do that, because these actors didn't go anywhere. They're still good.
One thing I was going to mention about the process of making Reservoir Dogs is, and I think this is why he is one of the few that does that, is they were as they were casting, he's working with the casting director, and as they're auditioning people, he's telling these people about all these talking to them about these obscure movies they were in. So some random actor comes in and goes, "Oh, what was it like working with Joe Don Baker and Pussycats from Hell back in 1975?" Right. And at the end of the audition process, the casting director took him aside and said, "Look, if your directing thing doesn't work out, I will hire you as a casting director immediately, because all the." So, right. In Hateful Eight, Jennifer Jason Leigh. She hadn't worked in quite a while. She wasn't, her career
Really?
was her career was considered kind of downslope, has been.
C movies, B movies.
Yeah, and he thought of her because he has that encyclopedic knowledge. So he knows all these actors, and he's not thinking, "Oh, who's hot right now? Who have I seen recently?" Like most people are. He's thinking, "Who would be good for this part?" And then he goes back in this database of a fucking mind he has, and goes, "Oh, Jennifer Jason Leigh in such and such in 1985 did a similar role, and she fucking rocked it. Let's get her in here."
And also, to his credit and to your point, and Jennifer Jason Leigh is a very good actress, but let's be very frank, she's not by any means Hollywood bimbo sexy.
Yeah.
And to your point, somebody else would have wanted to, who is the sexiest girl in Hollywood now? Yeah. Let's throw her in this role.
Half the directors are, who can I get to sleep with me to get the role?
Right.
That's all.
That's part of it.
But if you're on a budget, you're going to pay so much to have Tom Cruise in your movie. Why not get somebody that can still act, but somebody who hasn't been around in a minute? They're hungry. They're going to be like, oh my God, that fucker's going to be on time. He's going to know his lines. He's going to do his fucking deal, unless he's, Buster Keaton and washed up and can't tie his shoes. And then you're like, well, dude, I gave you every chance, man.
Well, look at his several times.
Tom Cruise was Cruise.
Michael Sparks, who's tremendous.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? He's great.
Tom Cruise was this close to being Cliff Booth. That's who he wrote Cliff Booth for.
I feel like even though Tom Cruise isn't hurting for money, that might have given him a shot in the arm, because anymore he's MI6 and
Well, I will.
When he's challenging
I'm a Tom Cruise fan. I think his
like
batting average.
When he's challenging himself, he is a fucking great actor.
Yeah.
When he's challenging himself,
I love the Mission Impossible films. I
do like those. Like, you put him in The Mummy, and he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He's wandering around.
It's a misstep.
Yeah, it's all good. He came back with Maverick.
Yeah. There you go.
The last Mission Impossible was the shit. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you want more out of an action film, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I
just want to see Betty Davis light a fart.
There you go.
Anyway, go ahead, Snags.
I am talking my Bobcat Goldthwait voice again for a little bit. So, anyways, Jackie Brown.
It sounds like Yoda.
It only made $39 million. Yeah. So
Snags,
Snags,
can I hear your Fozzie Bear, perhaps?
Pulp Fiction had made $213 million, and then Jackie Brown only made $39 million, so it was considered a failure.
It's totally Yoda.
I would love to know what Jackie Brown made them in VHS or DVD sales.
Yeah,
because that's. By the way, that's a whole. We didn't get to this episode. I think the doom of the film business goes entirely into VHS and DVD sales, and the lack of that going forward.
Yeah, they're not making movies that people want to see more than once.
Well, not just that, but even if you want to see it again, you don't have to buy physical media.
Right,
that's a whole other thing.
But you look at how many movies are made where the subject matter or whatever, there's no memorable lines in it. It's just some horrible, tragic story. And by the end of it, you're like, good God, I need to go watch SpongeBob or something. I can't, I'm so depressed now or whatever.
Earlier,
I love Jackie Brown.
I thought you were going to say, I love SpongeBob. But anyways, and so he's talking to Uma Thurman. I think it's around the time they're making Pulp Fiction, and he's like, I got this idea for a movie about this revenge movie where this woman gets almost killed, and she has to get up and go back and track down the people that tried to kill her, right? And he's talking to her, and I think the guy that she's going to try to kill is going to be named Bill. So it would be called Kill Bill. And this is like around the time of Pulp Fiction. And it's just, he's got a 39-page treatment he worked up. And he's talking to her casually about it. And he's like, I wrote it. I'm working on this treatment with you in mind. And she's like, oh, that sounds interesting. And then they both forget about it. And he does 4 Rooms. And then he goes and does From Dusk Till Dawn, which we didn't talk about very much. But he wrote that script and acted in that movie. And Robert Rodriguez directed it. And he was basically, early on, he wanted to be, people kind of forget this, but early on, Quentin Tarantino wanted to be an actor as much as he wanted to be a director.
Okay.
And he handed over, he was a main character. Him and George Clooney were the Gecko brothers. And
but I thought he just acted it. I didn't realize he wrote it.
Oh, he wrote it.
His connection to it.
Yeah, he wrote it, and he was a co-star with George Clooney. And Rodriguez directed it. So, and we'll talk a little bit if we can shoehorn it in about his acting stuff, because he's acted in quite a few movies that he didn't direct, especially early on. I remember listening to an interview with him. I think it was when he was dating Sofia Coppola briefly, and somebody wanted him for a movie, and she wanted him to stay home and pay attention to her.
Oh,
and he basically decided to stay home and pay attention to her. And also, I think I'm just going to focus on directing. I don't have time to be an actor and a director. And he also, he did a Broadway play at one point to work on his acting chops. And the reviews were just horrendous. So he's getting praised as a director constantly, and he's getting panned as an actor constantly. And I think that thing with Sofia Coppola where she's like, can you not go be an actor in this movie and just stay home with me? And that just tipped it. And he's like, fuck it, I'm just going to focus on directing.
I feel like his acting delivery is very similar to Scorsese, where they're saying the lines almost got a
staccato kind of thing going.
Jerry Seinfeld smirk.
It's like this intense kind of thing going on. Yeah.
But they're almost kind of smirking like Jerry does.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, fuck,
Well, dude, whenever I see Jerry Seinfeld, the first thing I think of is Martin Scorsese. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
All the time.
I think he's good in
Bloodbath from Mean Streets is Jerry Seinfeld all the way.
I like this part in Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
And I like his small part as Jimmy in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
But then I'm done.
Yeah.
It's just he's not.
Yeah, Dusk Till Dawn, though. I like him.
Dusk Till Dawn is good. But again, Dusk Till Dawn.
Him and George have a good back.
Dusk Till Dawn is a high-budget B film. And he got to say some somewhat controversial lines. So I don't mind him in that either. But, it's, you are good. Don't be too greedy. You're good at what you're good at. I mean.
Yeah. Well, Elvis really wanted to be an actor. He really wanted to be James Dean really badly. And he felt like his career was a failure because his movies, he never was able to have that movie career. And he was the king of rock and roll, but that wasn't good enough. Yeah. It's always, the grass is always greener.
And I agree with you. He wasn't a great actor by any means. I heard recently, to digress, an old clip of the Opie and Anthony show when they were on XM Satellite. And they were making fun of one of the company's other shows called Elvis Radio. And this was a show where anyone who knew him even a little bit would get some time to tell some story about Elvis. And one of these guys straight up claimed that with, I think it was Jailhouse Rock, invented rock and roll. And that's horse shit. And I think he maybe became self-conscious that as great a singer as he was, he knew he hadn't invented much.
No.
And largely it was racism that wouldn't give the proper credit where it was due.
No, Elvis had a lot of charisma, natural charisma. I mean, I think
did he write anything?
Doesn't matter. Neither did Frank Sinatra, and he was a brilliant singer.
Frank Sinatra's not credited with creating much in that way.
Yeah.
I think without.
Elvis
I think he was a little maybe self-conscious about it and wanted then to be known as an actor.
Elvis was
Great
Elvis was the perfect product to take the the blues and R&B and put it in a new shiny product to sell records.
Shiny white.
Yeah, but
I don't know. I don't think that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
Let's
bring me back around to Quentin Tarantino. One of my favorite things he ever wrote was the Elvis image in True Romance.
Yeah.
Spurring Clarence on.
He was obsessed with Elvis.
And one of Val Kilmer's greatest performances in which he is not really seen.
No, exactly. But I love True Romance was such a good script. Oh.
So good.
Yeah, it was good.
And it's right about that time. So True Romance came out, and then you had Pulp Fiction or
Reservoir Dogs. Yeah.
So it just, I saw the one, then the next one, and I was like right there at the beginning. And it's funny with Four Rooms and even Jackie Brown, I just kind of threw my hands up with Quentin. But
yeah, Jackie Brown was a little bit of a letdown. But again, as I was saying earlier, he knew that. He knew it was a little bit of a letdown. And he had talked to Uma Thurman back in the Pulp Fiction time frame about this idea he had for this thing called Kill Bill. He's trying to think of what to do after Jackie Brown. And he runs into Uma Thurman somewhere. And he had totally forgotten about this treatment. And she goes, "Hey, when are we going to do Kill Bill?" And fucking the light bulb goes off. He goes straight back to wherever he was. And I don't know if he was at his house or a hotel or whatever, pulls out that 39-page treatment and just writes the first draft of the script like immediately. And sends it to her and just gets moving on it.
I remember liking Jackie Brown in the moment. I enjoyed Jackie Brown.
It's got some positive qualities, but again, you go from 200 and something million to 39 million box office. You go from a movie.
You're talking about money
Mike. Hear me out for a second.
Yeah,
you go from a movie that just enthralls people in the theaters to where people are laughing and cheering and going nuts when they watch it, to Jackie Brown where people are kind of just sitting there. He knew, again, it goes back to the Black Gun experience of when you're just rocking the house. That was his standard.
That's fair.
And I
heard him talk about this on Joe Rogan. He went and saw Pulp Fiction early, just quietly, right?
Right.
And it was a big deal that he was bringing Travolta. Travolta was in it. Travolta hadn't done much other than Look Who's Talking, the stupid jokes, which are terrible. I mean, they're not even watchable now. And people's reaction to Travolta early on in the film was good. Like, oh man, he said when he gets up to dance with her at Jack Rabbit Slim's, he said the audience, film critics in the audience were like, "Is John gonna fucking dance in this?" And they went batshit because he was known as a prolific dancer too.
He did do a couple dance movies.
Yeah, so they really went nuts, and maybe Jackie Brown didn't have that kind of
right.
Well,
so
like
that's
Jackie Brown.
Yeah, we all like Jackie Brown, but the point is that there was a dip in energy after Pulp Fiction, and he wanted to get back something kinetic, something with a lot of action, and something that would just basically rock the theater house again. And when she mentioned Kill Bill, the fucking light bulb went off. And he said he wasn't going to make the same mistake again. Those are his words. I'm going to pack this fucking thing with action. And you get Kill Bill. It was originally supposed to be a 4-hour movie. It was going to be a 4-hour R-rated movie. And they said, I think it was Harvey Weinstein at the time was like, "Look, Quentin, it can be a 4-hour PG movie or it can be a 2-hour R-rated movie, but it can't be a 4-hour R-rated movie." And that's when he was like, well, what if it's 2 separate 2-hour R-rated movies? And they're like, okay, we can do that. So he considers Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 one film, even though he was forced to release
if
it.
you look at his current filmography, technically in terms of theatrical release,
He's done
Once
10
Upon
films.
a Time in Hollywood is 10.
Yeah.
His feeling is it's 9. And this will
he doesn't count 4 Rooms and
no.
Rodriguez.
He only considers full films he's written and directed.
Yeah.
I think he has made a small mistake in making such a big statement about 10, because I think the anticipation will almost never live up to it.
He should have just dropped the mic after the last one.
He should have made his 10th film and then said, I'm out. I will publish books. Peace.
Yeah.
I'm almost saddened because he's such a good director. So a writer will write. How many bands have said we're done and then they make another album?
Yeah.
You know,
he wants to do books though. Like if you read the novelization of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, or his book Cinema Speculation, his film criticism book, they're both fucking phenomenal.
Yeah. I'm reading Cinema Speculation right now. I haven't delved in. I have Once Upon a Time. I haven't read it yet.
Maybe this will motivate you to read it. It's not the same story. It's not the script. It's shit that happened before the script. It's shit that happened in scenes in between the scenes in the movie.
Yeah,
it's shit that happened after. It's not the fucking. It's an original work.
He's talked about novelizing Reservoir.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Which I think would be interesting. Yeah.
But
so far, Cinema Speculation is great.
And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the novel is a different piece.
It's so good.
I would
spoiler alert: Cliff actually killed his ex-wife. You find that out, and then you find that out in the novelization.
Yeah. I knew that shit, dude.
Yeah, so I'm just telling you, there's all kinds of shit like that in there,
dude.
What's funny?
I'm sorry. The scene in this, it's writing and acting just melding. I actually believe most good acting is only possible because of good writing. Because we've all seen actors we love make shit. But the scene in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with just DiCaprio in his trailer, and I'm not going to quote it right, but he's like, 7 goddamn amaretto sours. What the fuck?
Yeah. I could have just stopped it too.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, I like when he comes out, he's holding the blender and he's yelling at the hippies. I'm like, God damn, that's so good.
I hate hippies so much. It's so good. Get your goddamn mechanical asshole off my street.
Yeah. The thing is, Snags and I came out of the 70s. Our parents just were of that time, and they embraced it and did all the things. And we grew up very similar, you could almost put our childhood into a Tarantino film with badass people, rolling dope and making deals and doing bad shit. And we're just little kids with our $6 Million Man figure and, in the background. But so watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the subject matter, the whole Manson thing, I was like, I'm going to go see it because it's Quentin.
I remember us having this conversation.
Yeah.
There were news articles coming out. The next Tarantino movie is going to be about the Manson family. And I remember you saying that's going to be a horrible movie. And I was like, it's Tarantino. He'll find a way to make it brilliant. And you were like, why would you make a movie about such a tragedy? It never occurred to any of us that he would kill those motherfuckers with a flamethrower at the end.
Yeah,
which is why you make brilliant fucking way to
characters in that context
who are outside of that whole scene and critiquing it
as the agent
Yeah.
Maybe
was
the
great.
best thing he's done in 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
Like for
the
me, his
theater-
last good role was in Heat, which
Right.
was that 94.
Yeah.
Right.
The theater
95?
burst into applause
Yeah.
when he does that flamethrower, and that whole scene is
I
not
was
in the
I was
book.
laughing my ass
Yeah.
off
Oh,
on
Well,
that.
yeah.
the little scene earlier where he's on the set of the 15 Fists of McCluskey. I have a T-shirt for that, by the way.
Mhm.
When he's using the flamethrower, he's learning how to use it. And he goes, "Can we do something about this heat?" And off camera, the stunt coordinator goes, "It's a fucking flamethrower.
Yeah.
What do you want us to do about it? It shoots
Yeah.
heat, motherfucker."
That was actually DiCaprio's real reaction.
Oh my god, that's funny.
And
If
they
that's true,
kept it in.
is
they
that
kept
it-
true?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
That is then fucking even
Yeah.
better. He
Yeah.
is
Oh,
so good in that role.
Yeah.
It just crushes. Dude, the whole thing of the made up Italian movies
Oh yeah.
fucking slays. It's
Yeah.
so fucking funny.
That and
But it makes you love his character.
and
so
the
much.
dog food, even the
Oh,
dog food.
oh.
The,
Dude, I have a fucking coffee cup with that fucking dog food
He
label
wrote
on it.
he wrote 5 episodes. He wrote 5 full episodes of Bounty Law when he
Dude,
was
that's my point.
prepping for this
fucking-
movie.
I own a fucking coffee cup of a made-up dog food from
Yeah.
that movie. Do you understand how much money this asshole has generated?
Oh, he's
I
up
have
there.
a-
He's
I
up
have
there
a-
with Gene Simmons. You know?
I have a silky
Yeah.
shirt, literally, with DiCaprio's character in Bounty Law, the movie poster.
Yeah.
I have that shirt. That never happened before.
He's
him.
actually thinking, one of the things he's thinking of doing, because he didn't say he would never direct again. He said he's going to make 10 movies and that's going to be it. One of the projects he's talking about possibly doing next is a Bounty Law miniseries on Netflix.
oh, that would be tremendous
Because he's already got the scripts.
I would subscribe
Duh.
to Netflix for that shit.
Yeah, I would subscribe, watch it, and then
They don't have
unsubscribe.
it.
But
That's the impact he's had.
yeah. But he's possibly thinking of doing a 5-episode miniseries of Bounty Law because he already has the scripts. So,
That's
him
great.
retiring from directing doesn't mean he's going to quit being. What he's afraid of. Go watch Brian De Palma's latest movie. There's some terrible movie. I forget what it was. I watched it on Amazon Prime. It was Brian De Palma, and it was just really bad. And he doesn't want to end up. He doesn't want to be like Kiss doing the farewell tour where they're lip syncing the music.
Yeah.
He wants to quit after Alive 2 and drop the mic.
Well, but let's keep it with directors. John Ford made some amazing movies.
Oh, we
for a
brought up
long
Kiss.
time.
That was the official Kiss.
Yeah, there you go. You got that in. No, but John Ford.
You mentioned De Palma.
Yeah.
My favorite Brian De Palma film was Carlito's Way, which was released in 1993.
It wasn't Untouchables, Brian De Palma.
Yeah, that was
Yes.
De Palma.
I like that a lot.
Untouchables is still
It's great. And by the way, I love Untouchables because his intention was to recreate the films about that era.
Yeah.
It wasn't to be historically accurate.
Yeah,
It
no.
was, and he did a great job. And I like him generally. I love Carrie. Carrie to me is one of the best horror films ever made.
That's a great film. That's
That's my
really
point.
fucking.
Brian
It's
De
also
Palma's-
really fucking creepy. Just the
For me, his
mom,
last
the
good
mom
film
she lives
came
with.
out in 1993.
Yeah. But he's done. There's something I watched recently that was
So he's
just really
still
fucking
directing.
terrible.
I didn't know he was still.
Yeah, it was terrible, and he doesn't want to end up like that. He
Yeah.
don't want to be this former master who's just making these straight
Well,
to
it's-
Amazon Prime things, and
I think it's important that you have someone in your camp that doesn't have to kiss your ass. So somebody, case in point, Freddie Mercury leaves Queen, does his first solo album.
oh
He
god, yeah,
suddenly
it's
has
terrible.
he suddenly has no one to tell him, dude, this sucks.
Yeah, right.
know?
Yeah.
How
That
about
happens so
no
much with
opera?
solo artists
Hey,
once they
Freddie,
leave a
how about
band.
no opera and let's just rock like you did
Yeah.
with me? And so again, like maybe Tarantino decides to do Bounty Law, but he doesn't have anyone there to really give him any friction. And maybe he makes 5 episodes and goes, fuck, you have to stay grounded. You have to have some anchorage. And I think maybe when you're making that kind, you suddenly are making money and rubbing elbows with all these famous people that are just telling you how great you are. You suddenly make The Elder,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, or
Back to Kissinger.
I don't even remember the name of it. What's the fucking movie Scorsese made about Jimmy Hoffa?
Oh God, The Irishman.
It's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
It's fucking
the
terrible.
The book that
says it's awful.
The book is amazing.
The book is amazing. What's it called? That You Paint Houses.
You Paint
But
Houses.
hasn't that even been kind of fucked up because they've said it's bullshit?
No, it's not bullshit. So You Paint Houses is an amazing fucking book, and
it is.
Yeah.
It is,
but
they
saying
did.
I'm gonna cast De Niro and I'm gonna use CGI to make him look younger. It's just a terrible idea. The whole thing was just terrible.
It really was. But I think it was like a hot pocket for all the kids. Like they went, "Oh, this is amazing," because they've got nothing to base it on, and they just.
Dude, I've talked to several people younger than us who love that. They've never seen Raging Bull. They've never seen Goodfellas, and I told them, "Go fuck your mother."
Yeah, go
fuck you.
Yeah.
Peace off.
Fuck him in this ear, fuck him in the other ear. They've never seen Mean Streets. Come on, get the fuck out of here. That's stupid.
Yeah.
So let's see here. I'm gonna do some random scrolling through my notes and just drop some random trivia.
Yeah, throw some shit at the wall.
And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood,
I might watch that again tonight because you asked me.
Oh, you should. The actual Maltese Falcon statue is there's a bookstore scene where Sharon Tate goes into a bookstore and she goes up to a little statue and pets it. That's the Maltese Falcon statue from the movie.
And I've heard rumor that prop has been lost and found and very sought out, maybe not though.
The Manson family has a bunch of second-generation Hollywood brats in it. It's got Maya Hawke, the daughter of Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke. She's 26.
Nepotism like a motherfucker.
She's 26 years old now. Look up a photo of her. She's fucking stunning.
Filthy.
Who would imagine?
Rumor Willis, daughter of Bruce Willis and Demi Moore. Margaret Qualley, who's the daughter of Andy McDowell. And Harley Quinn Smith, Kevin Smith's offspring. Those are the Manson hippies, Manson hippie girls. Dakota.
What a beautiful
Fanning,
baby. Let's name it Rumor.
Yeah, that's odd, isn't it? Yeah. The Bruce Lee scene was actually based on a true story. He had a reputation for smacking around the stuntmen when he played Kato on the Green Hornet.
Yep.
So there was one stuntman who had the kind of the balls to stick in there, so they ended up mainly just using this one stuntman to fight Bruce Lee. Whoever Bruce Lee's fighting, they get this guy dressed up as that guy, and in the story, but it's always the same stuntman because he's the only one who could take it. And apparently, in between scenes, Bruce Lee challenges the stuntman to a real sparring match. And the stuntman beats Bruce Lee using wrestling moves, which is something Bruce Lee was completely unfamiliar with. And that's what
close range too. So you don't have a lot of...
It's like the Brazilian jiu-jitsu stuff where they wrap around you like an anaconda and you can't do anything. And so that is what that scene's based on. Bruce Lee really did get his ass kicked on the set of the Green Hornet. And the thing is, that guy ended up becoming a really close friend of Bruce Lee, and Bruce Lee learned all that wrestling shit. And you can see some of his martial arts films he does later. He busts out some wrestling moves, but it's because he got his ass kicked by that guy in front of a bunch of people. But he was humble enough to say, okay, this is something I don't know. Let me learn it.
So as the comic nerd that I am, I have got an omnibus of a comic magazine that Marvel put out back in the day in the 70s called Deadly Hands of Kung Fu. And they reprint the entire series, interviews and all. In every episode, every issue, they would also have interviews of current, Kung Fu things. Now, I would argue the only reason this thing ever got published was because of Bruce Lee's fame, to his credit. I'm a Bruce Lee fan, by the way. I love his movies. One of them, he was in several of those Bruce Lee films, and he definitively said in one of these interviews that in real life, because of the weight differential, Chuck Norris would have handed him his balls every day and twice on Sunday because he weighed 30, 40 pounds more than he did, which is why even today in UFC fights, there is a weight class. It's a real thing.
I want to talk a little bit, wrap it up, just talking a little bit about possible movie number 10. And so here's what's gone down so far. He was originally going to do an R-rated Star Trek movie. Basically it didn't work out. The script was still out there for a while, and there's possibility somebody else might direct it, but I think that that's off the table now. Again, I would love to see that script. Then there was the movie, The Movie Critic, which basically it was going to be about a real life film critic who, in cinema speculation, he talks about this guy. I'm forgetting the name, who is he was the B-movie film critic for the LA Times. And he loved this guy because he reviewed all the exploitation films and he didn't talk down about them. He'd really give them their due. I don't know if it's based on that guy. That the guy in his script apparently worked for a porn magazine. And that might be based on a real person who's somebody else. But basically, guy works for a porn magazine and reviews movies. And then at some point it morphed. I remember reading that it morphed into that was going to be Cliff Booth in that movie. And then he just lost interest in it. So apparently the Movie Critic is off the table.
Are you talking about Kenneth Turan?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up. I don't know if it's that important, the name of the guy.
All right, go ahead.
But so the Movie Critic is off the table. Another idea that's been talked about is a Django Zorro crossover. And then the other thing that he has talked about, and he's talked about it with Uma Thurman apparently, is going out with Kill Bill 3. So
all of his movies, the Kill Bill 1 and 2, I own them. I've seen them. I've gone back and watched them. They're just not ones hey, let's put that on. I don't know why.
Oh, I fucking love those movies.
I don't know why I don't like them.
For me, they're up there with Pulp Fiction. Just fucking
for sure.
And there's times I've put them on because I'm like, fuck, what am I missing? Everybody raves about these two movies, and I don't know. I don't know why. I wish I could say, well, there's this scene and like really back it up. They just don't do a fucking thing for me. So.
All right.
I think for me personally, whatever year any of his movies come out, that to me has been probably the best movie that year. Every one. Hateful Eight is my least favorite, and it was probably still the best movie that came out that year.
I really liked Hateful Eight. I like what Netflix has, an extended Hateful Eight that's really long, and you're like, what did they cut? Because it all just flows. It goes very well together.
There's apparently 2 extra hours of footage from Once Upon a Time in America. The original Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The original cut was 4 hours long, and
Yeah.
he didn't cut it because it was bad stuff. He cut it because Sony wanted him to get it down to 2 hours. So he has talked about doing the same thing that he did with Hateful Eight, do a mini series on
Well,
Netflix with the
I would
rest
be
of
all
what
over that.
I would love to
There
fucking see.
is probably some research in a book to be written about how much the studios have butchered films in terms of length over the years.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I can only tell you this. I think it was called an original cut of Gone with the Wind in the 90s at the movie theater. And they made like a 10 or 15 minute intermission. And that was fine. I got up, I took a piss, I got some more popcorn.
Was
I
that the one?
enjoyed it.
Was that the one where they put Jabba the Hutt back in?
No.
Yeah.
But that to me, because I love Kill Bill, I would have easily seen a 4-hour Kill Bill in the day. Now I will say this: in a 2.5 hour, if you have a legitimate 4 or 5 hour film, there probably needs to be an intermission.
Well, they did that with Hateful Eight. They did it on the CinemaScope, and
I've got my little intermission programs right over there in this room. From Hateful Eight.
either I got it from you or
I mailed you one of them. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, we're human beings, and I think the theaters would probably like it because in the intermission, maybe you go buy another bag of M&Ms, you get another Coke, maybe you get some more popcorn. But yeah, I'm good with that.
Well, I
recently got a DVD collection of The Godfather in chronological order, cut by Coppola.
Yeah, that's
that actually starts with a lot of Godfather 2.
That's the only way to see that.
And it's great.
Those 2 movies.
You gotta see them. You gotta see The Godfather in chronological order.
So minus number 3 to begin with, but
there's stuff like that
I think that's the
movie.
studios interfering, and I think it's a horse shit.
Yeah,
bunch of bastards.
Well, let's wrap this up. I have shit I gotta do.
Yeah, you gotta take a shit. Yeah, I bet.
No, I gotta deal with the kid.
Take a shit.
Condor.
All right.
El Condor.
Peace out, motherfuckers. It's been real.
Rabiducious.
Peace. Thanks, guys. I had fun. Appreciate you.
Later.